Hey guys! That's a lot of books. This year I challenged myself to read as many books as I possibly can. I literally never read before. Typically in grade school I hated books, but now I'm starting to realize that there's all these books out there that are fun. But don't get me wrong, I do not read that fast. I literally read I think my average so far this year has been 2 books a month, which is I'm proud of myself for doing that. I know there's some readers that can literally read a full book in a week, and that's just crazy. I could not do that. 10 books for me in 1 year so far. It's only April. Pat myself on the back. So, first book I read this year so far was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Amazing. 5 stars. I'm just gonna say it right off the bat. I already watched the movie before reading this, so I kind of knew the idea. So glad I read it. It's so good. I just love the character development, and Elizabeth changes her mind. That's all I'm gonna say. But I just love the whole dynamic of this whole book, how it's set in the 60s, I don't know, and how it's old English writing, so it's kind of harder. It was definitely hard for me to read at first because I'm not used to it, but once I started, I could not stop. Totally recommend. But yeah, I do not have the actual copy with me right now, but the second book I read was Live in Love by Lauren Atkins.
I completely fell in love with this book. It's pretty much just a biography of her life and what she's been through.
It's her whole life, right? She has a lot of things she had to go through, hard times, good times, and she also married Thomas Rhett, which is a famous country singer, which I love him. I actually went to his concert last year, I believe. The best concert ever. I mean, I've only been to 2 concerts, but Live in Love I would give definitely 5 out of 5 stars as well. Not all of these are 5 out of 5 stars, don't worry. The third book that I read was also a Jane Austen book. For Christmas, I got the whole set, so that's why I'm reading kind of a lot of Jane Austen books right now. And Persuasion, this is the third book I read. I definitely didn't get as much into this book as I did with Pride and Prejudice, and I didn't take my time with it because I was just kind of rushing through because I just wanted to get it done. But I definitely want to reread it next year or in a year or 2. I know it was a good book. I just didn't fully get into it for some reason. I mean, I'd say 4 stars. 1, 2, 3. Fourth book, which I kind of abandoned after a bit. The Catholic Catechism by John A. Hardin. Look at how thick this is. This is ridiculous. I did not finish it. Clearly, look, this is all I've gone through. I had a very, very hard time reading this, which I fall asleep every time I tried to read it. So I'm actually listening to Catechism in a Year by Father Mike Schmitz instead of reading this. It's literally the same, so I guess that doesn't count as 10 books, but whatever, we're fine. Book number 5, I read The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis. I did like this book. I wouldn't say this is a 5-star for me, only because it's more of information, logical, these are the facts kind of book, whereas I like the more comparative storytelling kind of books. I'll give this book, I'm sure a lot of people enjoy this book out there, so I'd say 3.5 stars. Please don't come at me if you really like this book. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
That's my opinion!
So book number 6, The Summer of Broken Rules. I absolutely love this book. I literally could not put it down. I just kept flying through it so fast because, I just love rom-coms. Anything with romance in it is gonna get me. I like the character development as well in this book. It's a summer vacation, and she meets this guy at a wedding who's also standing in the wedding. It takes place in Martha's Vineyard, which I previously knew about this place from Gilmore Girls. Love this book, definitely 5 stars. Love this book. If you guys like book reviews, you should definitely check out my 2 friends' channels, Rachel and Patrick. They both do book reviews, and it's literally I love their channels so much because it's so insightful and just interesting, and I'll definitely leave their links down below. You can check them out. The 7th book I read this year is Intro to Devout Life. So this is obviously more of a spiritual book. One of my goals for Lent was to read more spiritual books. I really liked it. It was definitely hard to get into at first. I definitely glad I've gone through it because as you go, there's a lot of comparisons to like nature which was really cool to hear about. But yeah, this is definitely 5-star. I think every Christian, every Catholic should read it in order to get closer to God. Now, the 8th book I read was this little tiny Sherlock Holmes book, which I thought was the cutest thing. There's, I believe, 3 short stories in this book, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I never really knew about Sherlock Holmes before. Like, obviously he was like a little detective, but I didn't understand like how the series went. And now that I see that there's like a bunch of short stories that go along with it, I thought that was really cool. Like, once everything unfolds at the end, like how everything happened and how Sherlock gets to those conclusions is super just like mind-blowing, honestly. I just don't understand how he he knows all these things. Like, he's so smart. I might sound dumb saying that because I've literally never read a Sherlock Holmes book before, but I'm very glad that I read this. This is definitely 5-star. Like, obviously Sherlock Holmes, you know? I also just really like the size, how it's like small and it fits in my purse, so I could like bring it around with me if I wanted to. Well, which I did. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9th book I read was The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. I really enjoyed. So obviously the Four Loves C.S. Lewis one, I had higher expectations for that. Didn't enjoy it as much as I liked this one. I don't know why I really liked this book. It was so like him creating this world of what the in-between of heaven and hell is like. He didn't specifically say that it was purgatory, however it sounded like it kind of in a way. Or maybe he did, I don't know, I don't remember. I get bored fast, so it's hard for me to focus on things. But anyways, really enjoyed this book and I liked the ending. I would also give this 5 stars. Definitely read this again. And the last book I read was another Jane Austen book, of course. Mansfield Park. I just finished this the other day, actually. I really like this book. Okay, compared to Persuasion, definitely like this better than Persuasion, but not sure if I like it more than Pride and Prejudice, or if they're like kind of on the same level. But I really liked like the vulnerability of Fanny, the main character in this book, and how her character development came across, and her relationship with Edmund was just so like sweet and innocent and, you know, comfortable. I just really like this book. I'd say 5 stars again. Again, the Old English is a bit troubling to read. Like, I like it. However, sometimes I have to like reread things because I just wasn't paying attention, and I have to, you know, reread it so that I get it in my head and I know what I'm reading. I'm very glad that I read all these books because they're really helping me expand my vocabulary and also just be better with words, you know? So right now, I'm currently reading the Bible, which is gonna take me a long time to get through, but I'm reading the Bible. I also started the Confessions of St. Augustine. So far, I really like this book because it's like he's going in chronological order of his life. I haven't gotten through it much, but it's really good so far. I really like it. I also am gonna start this little David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I'm very excited for this one because I know it's not gonna be the same as Sherlock Holmes, but it's in the same series, so I'm assuming that it's like short stories like the same. Also I bought this at the thrift store the other day, and I just picked it up. Like, I have no idea what it's about. Great and Terrible Beauty by Le Babre. I hope I'm saying that right. It's probably not right. Hopefully this will be cool. It says it's somewhere in England, so I love England. So those are the books that I'm started reading or I'm gonna start. I'm really excited to keep on this journey and see how many books at the end of the year that I actually read. Whatever the number is, I'm already proud of myself that I've read 10 books so far this year. And like last year, I've only read like 2. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys like books, because books are kind of cool actually. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.